coming into September, all markets were looking pretty healthy. Commercial stockpiles of crude across the OECD really sitting at more or less pre-pandemic levels, really cleaned up that glut that had been in the market, built in the market in 2020. US gasoline demand was also at its highest week on record in late August. And, as you said, the major agencies reaffirming the belief that consumption is going to see a really strong fourth quarter and we're going to exceed pre-pandemic levels in 2022. So when you add to that the impact of Hurricane Ida wiping about 1.5 million barrels a day of production in the US, with more storms such as Nicholas on the way, as well as the fact that OPEC Plus delivered less than half of its intended production increase in August, well, the oil market's looking rather exposed for September and October, and you certainly have the building blocks for an increase to around $80 a barrel in the short term at least.
$80 to a barrel. And do you think that there would be meaningful recovery in demand? Because it's such a, while the IEA is optimistic, you have the OPEC Plus also optimistic about demand recovery, the virus is still around. And so do you think that, demand can catch up?
Sure. So, that $80 number is certainly that short term, and there's more than enough risk factors and levers in the market to continue to exert downward pressure on prices. And of course, that the pandemic is a real existential threat where we think we've got under control, and then there's more lockdowns, and there's more surges, and there's more variants. So you can never discount the impact of that. It's really a case of OPEC Plus having the keys to the market at some extent to look at all these indicators, some of the things I mentioned before, but also their view on demand and recovery based on vaccination rates and increased mobility across the world, for them to take a view on how much crude to release into the market. So at the moment, they've reaffirmed the 400,000 barrels a day for October, but of course that's always going to be a moving target, particularly at the balance of the year. So yeah, $80 potentially in the short term with the supply disruptions, but really, the market seems to have settled on $65 to $75 a barrel, kind of a Goldilocks zone where producers have good cash flow performance, but also doesn't stymie economic recovery and pump prices for consumers. So, OPEC Plus will do what it can with its levers and mechanisms to keep price in that range.